What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. If you happen to be new here, I am Samantha and I am an online business coach for new entrepreneurs and startups that are ready to scale up. So today we are going to be talking about the 3 books that I recommend every new entrepreneur reads. Even if you're not a new entrepreneur and you haven't read these books that I'm about to tell you about, I highly recommend reading them. One, they're good for just perspective of what it's like to be an entrepreneur, and also the places that you can go when you are an entrepreneur. It's amazing. And these books have helped me grow my business and have helped, I know, a million other people also grow their businesses. So you really need to read these, and let's go ahead and get into it. Are you ready? First things first. Ready? So the first book is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Now, if you've been an entrepreneur for a while, you've probably read this book. It is one of the well-known books out there for entrepreneurs and honestly just people in general. It's probably one of my favorite books of all time. I should say self-help books of all time. It's one of those books that you read, and when you read the chapter, you're like, well, that's such an obvious tip that he just gave, yet no one does it. So when you're reading these, it's a really fast read. And the other thing I love about this book is that you can honestly just like open a random chapter and read that chapter. You don't have to actually go in order of the book. So I still do it to this day, as I keep this book by me and I will randomly just open a chapter and reread it. And it's always good information to remind myself on to do as a human being, as an entrepreneur, as a friend, as a daughter, as a dog mom, all of these things. So I highly recommend reading it. Let's see, it's like 250 pages long. So you can read this in a couple days very easily. And it's one of those books that I recommend you read every year because it's so fast and so easy, and it's good just to remind yourself on the tips and tricks that he talks about. So this is my #1 book. So if you're going to read any of the books that I'm recommending today, this is going to be the one that I think is most important and has helped me the most in life and in business. So once again, it's How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's literally probably like $9 on Amazon. So go get it and order it now. You can read it in 2 days with 2-day shipping. All right, and the second book I am recommending today for all of you is The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. This book is a little bit more, a little bit longer than the last book I mentioned. However, this book is magical. It does magical things to entrepreneurs, and it really gets your mind thinking about what you actually want as a business owner and what successful actually means in your eyes. He talks about how certain people are successful in certain ways, and just because there's a person that's working 80-hour weeks making $1 million a year doesn't mean that he's actually successful. And somebody making $100,000 a year working 2 hours a week or 4 hours a week might be actually more successful than that person. So it's a really good read, and it might change your perspective on what it's like to own a business and what your goals should be as a business owner. And he helps you break it down, which is really cool, so that you can actually be a very successful business owner and live the life that you want to live as a business owner. And if you've watched any of my videos before, you know that I am a business coach that helps people start their own businesses, but also to live lives that they love. I know what it's like to work in a job that stinks and you hate your life. So my whole goal with starting a business and helping other people start businesses is that they choose something that they love and will actually love doing, and not be working 1 million hours a week and only working when they absolutely need to, and also love what they're doing. So this is a very amazing book, and I really recommend it. It's a little bit longer. So this one, let's see, this one is not that much longer, but it's like 411 pages around. So it's about double, I guess, of the last one that we talked about. But this is also another quick read. I find it very fascinating, so I read it pretty quickly. But he also does have like worksheets sort of inside the book, and even online. You can go to his website, Tim Ferriss's website, and download some of the worksheets that he has for the book. So if you take your time and do the worksheets, it might take a little bit longer to read the book. Which I recommend doing. So you might want to read this book a couple of times, one time without the worksheets, one time with. But it is really good book talking about escaping the 9-to-5 and living a life that you love and creating a business that you love. So this book is amazing. Also, if you don't know who Tim Ferriss is, he has like so many good books. So just look him up and read one of his books as well. So this is number 2, The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And last but not least, we're going to talk about the third and final book that I recommend for entrepreneurs. And I hate to say there's only 3 books that I recommend because there are thousands of good self-help books that you guys all know. But this one is actually a little bit different. It's not as much of a self-help, it's more of a story. And I love this book because, one, I find it interesting and it's cool to hear the story of this brand that every single person knows about. But also hear the stories of failure that this person went through, which I think really helps entrepreneurs realize, like, wow, this person got to $1 billion business and went through a ton of failures, almost went out of business like thousands of times. So the final book I want to share with you guys is Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. This is the story about Nike, the running sports brand that everyone knows about, the swoosh. And it's his story about how he started Nike. And it was not originally called Nike. It was actually called something else. And if you know that name, you may have already read this book. If you don't know that name, he does talk about what the first original name of Nike was, how it got started, how they came up with Nike, how they got to $1 billion, how they failed about 1 trillion times and somehow got out of the failures and kept going and eventually won, as you all know. He also talks about some personal stories in here, family stories, and it was a very surprising book. I didn't know a lot about Phil Knight before I read this, or about really the history of Nike, and it was really, really cool to hear about it. And Phil Knight is an amazing author, an amazing writer. He's really funny when he's telling his stories, while also sharing a lot of personal stuff. So it's really, really good. I really highly recommend reading it. This one, let's see, this one is about 383 pages. So it doesn't take too long to read. I read it pretty fast. And it's going to make you want to go get more Nike clothes and shoes. So I highly recommend reading this one as well. So once again, this is Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and then How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. So these are the 3 books that I recommend you read. If you're looking for a good one, definitely try one of these. And if you are a new entrepreneur, a experienced entrepreneur, a seasoned entrepreneur, and you haven't read any of these, which I'm sure you have, if you're seasoned. If you haven't read them, though, I highly, highly recommend it. They're so good. And I will actually put the links down to them below in Amazon, so you guys can just click and buy. And it's actually not an affiliate, so I'm just sharing my knowledge with you guys here. So if you're a new entrepreneur, I think these books will definitely help you put your life and business into perspective, and to really help you not to give up. And there are a lot of times in life when you want to give up as an entrepreneur, and these books really help to know that other people went through the same thing, and we're allowed having any dreams that we want. Your dreams may seem crazy to some people, but it doesn't mean you can't get them, right? All right, well, those are the 3 books that I wanted to recommend to you guys today. If you have any questions or comments about the books, if you have read the books, comment below and let me know which one's your favorite out of the 3 and why you love them so much. And if you have any other book recommendations, I would love to see if I haven't read any yet. So I wish you guys all the best of luck with reading these books, and I will see you guys at my next video. See ya.